Yo, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. We have finally hit video number 400, and today I decided to make a video about none other than the FSCA. Now, you've probably heard the question, is this broker regulated with the FSCA? Well, today we're going to talk about the fit and proper requirements in order for someone to apply for a license at the FSCA. If you are new to the channel, a sub would be appreciated as I provide valuable educational content on a daily basis. And if you enjoy the content, please do consider smashing that thumbs up button as well. Let's go over some of the questions that we have received over here. We're going to start here. Here we've got Mr. Myers Komble saying, thanks for this beautiful video. You are very, very welcome. I see you're going through all the old videos. That's good. Much appreciated, Rolio. Thanks. You're welcome, Mr. Nagan. The way, thanks, Rolio. Can imagine life as a breadwinner. 100% with you there. Burger Technology saying, this is depressing. Yes, it's very bad. And it gets even worse the lower you fall in the food chain. DJ Nathan D saying, yeah, Rolio, could you perhaps make a video regarding wise investment routes? Definitely. I've had a broker, I had an investment firm reach out to me to do a partnership. They are regulated with the FSCA, so we are in talks at the moment. I will probably be doing a sponsorship video for them. Mr. Joshua Green, will BRICS help us in this area? Definitely will. Mr. Bakang is saying, painful truth. 100% agree. Akes is saying, I love how you speak on the facts of life. We need to educate people about what the government is doing to us. United, we must stand. Mr. Mohammed, thanks for the great content. I was just wondering, could you possibly make a video explaining your trading strategy? As I said, as soon as we 10,000k subs, I will be dropping a shoshi strategy for you guys. But for now, look, I rely mostly on economical data, and this helps me make much better trading decisions in confluence with price action and then some magic sources in the port. But I've done everything. I've basically explained everything to you guys here on YouTube as well. Mr. Tawalala, what's up, Rolio? What is your perspective on executing trading markets on specifically NYCs? And I've actually made an entire video for that. It's called the Nasdaq strategy. You can just go and watch this video. There you'll see all about the lollipop, like Clint Fester would say, and then, break, retest, rally, base, rally, all of that stuff. You get it in there for you, my friend. A full video dedicated just for you guys. Now the main question is the FSCA. Who are these guys? You've always heard, are you regulated with the FSCA? Well, firstly, the FSCA is like the police. They are the law that oversees the financial industry. Who is the financial industry? Who is part of the financial industry? Well, under financial industries, you get what's known as FSPs. The FSCA, they oversee FSPs. Now, FSPs are financial services providers. Okay, these are providers that offer financial services. To give you some examples, an insurance company, a broker like XM Markets. Number 3, a bank, because they also have people's money. And then number 4 would be an investment firm like Alan Gray. Not those guys you see on Instagram. No. They need to be they need to be regulated, but they're not. Now, there's a lot of people that goes down the legal route to be regulated. Then you get people who feel it's okay to stand under someone else's umbrella. You can stand from there's a lot of brokers here in South Africa that's created like that, and then there's brokers that are created with no regulation. Now, why do you think people choose not to go get regulated? Well, I'll tell you why. Firstly, there are requirements that you need to meet, and one of those requirements is you need to be financially sound, meaning that you need to have deep pockets. Why? How are you going to start a bank and you don't have money? So that is why one of the requirements for the FSP, once you meet all these requirements that we're going to go over, and I'll give you mine, I'll explain it to you to understand a bit better, then you can go and apply for an FSP license. Other than that, Hanzaima up Instagram, and then you can just say there you do investment services, but you're not really supposed to. And this is why people don't want to go get regulated. This is why people don't want to go and the legal route. Because why? It's a very complicated situation, but it is in the best interest of the clients. Now, we're going to go through what's known as the fit and proper requirements. Now, I'm not going to go through what is the fit and proper requirements, but I'm just going to read this for you guys here. The fit and proper requirements also aims to establish increased competence within the industry, right? Most elements of the fit and proper hinges on the fact that competence will take center stage. Now, the fit and proper requirements is basically a list of requirements, right, that an FSP or a director of a company requires in order to get licensed to be an FSP. Because if there was no requirements, anybody can just go to the FSP like, I get SASA, I want to open up a bank, I need a license. No, that's why these requirements are there to put in place. Now, what are the new fit and proper requirements? Now, when I got my, when I wrote my regularity exam, there was no such thing as new fit and proper requirements. Some of them look very like financial soundness, operational ability, honesty, integrity, competence, policy and process. Those ones I still remember. It's been a long time, guys. But I see there are new ones, which is why I decided to come through to this website. It says here, the following is a high-level summary of the fit and proper requirements which need to be implemented, complied with before each deadline date. Now, the first one is honesty, integrity, and good standing. Now, honesty is obviously, you know what it means. It's the opposite of what a lot of people are doing out there. Integrity is not changing. It's leaving your girlfriend as your wallpaper even when she's not around. It's like about doing the right thing even when no one's watching. So when you put your money in the bank or with a financial services provider, they need to safeguard and they need to do the right thing, because you're not sitting there 24/7 looking after your money. And the last one is good standing. Now it says here, financial services providers need to set out adequate policies and internal processes to ensure that the key individual oversees representatives to make sure that they are doing what they are supposed to, and the representatives fulfill their duties in an honest manner and comply with the requirements. If you've ever got a call from an insurance company or someone that's selling you loans, you will always hear them say, and I am acting, like, and I work, or I act in honesty and integrity, and I maintain the fit and proper requirements, stuff like that. Okay, comply with requirements. In addition, FSP must be able to meet standards or principles of good standing, like keeping up to date with regularity obligations, having a valid license, having no outstanding reports, not owing any fees, and ensuring that all requirements are met. Now, it's very difficult for some people, and they don't even look at this, but a lot of people, a lot of brokers. I just watched the Life of Rydal, where we've had a situation where the broker was not honest or acting in integrity. So this is why the requirements is that you need to be honest, act with integrity, and have good standing. The number two, or the second one, is the competency and policy processes. Now, the competency is basically having someone that is qualified to be able to understand how the financial industry works, whether it is a compliance officer, whether it is a key individual, or whether it's a representative that has just completed his 2 years under supervision providing financial advice. That says here, the competency is defined in the board notice as having skills, knowledge, expertise needed for proper discharge of a person's responsibility in the performance of his or her functions. Now imagine giving someone a license that doesn't even have a matric or doesn't even have a grade 6. I know the requirements is lower to be a president, but I mean, like, to start an FSP, you need to have certain levels of education in place so that they can see, okay, exactly what you're talking about. You don't start a bank with a grade 2 certificate. It says that the FSP and the key individual must therefore make sure that the representatives receive adequate training to make sure that they are up to date with new policies put in place by the FSCA in order to maintain compliance and be competent enough to offer clients the particular services or products for which they are authorized. What does that mean? It means that when an FSP is authorized to render services for a category 1 short-term insurance, they can't go and trade on behalf of clients. No, you have to do what you're supposed to do. Now, the next one we are going to speak about is operational ability for financial services providers, representatives, and key individuals. Now, you've probably heard a lot of people on Facebook Marketplace, for instance, or we ask that question all the time. Where's your offices, right? Now, that is what they mean by an FSP. One of the requirements is that an FSP have operational ability. There needs to be a building where people are working inside, so that if you have a problem, you know exactly where you need to go. It says here, operational ability refers to the functional skill capability and capacity of a person or organizations to perform certain duties, tasks, and obligations. It means that you need to have a place where there's a computer where people can speak to their clients, when they have to capture all of that stuff. It says here, key individuals and representatives have certain operations ability requirements that they don't need to comply with so that they efficiently carry out their duties relevant to their roles in the FSP. Now, basically, what they do mean here is that a key individual is normally flexible because he can be outsourced, he can be multiple, so he doesn't need to be, he doesn't need one place to sit, so he can actually move his laptop and stuff like that around. But for a representative, he needs to stay put. Now, if you think about it like this, if you go through some of the brokers and the FSP licenses here in South Africa, you'll know that a lot of them uses the same broker license. Yeah. But that's because a lot of them would not be able to fulfill all of these obligations. I don't think any of them would be able to come past competency, let alone integrity. Now, next thing, the governance framework. Now, this one, sorry, guys, I've just been there. Now, automated device. Now, automated device, I've never heard about this, right? It says here, is a new requirement under operational ability FSPs that provide automated advice. So, you've probably heard about these answering machines that call you. This is prata animati or no one talks. That says here, any financial services provider that provide automated advice, example, robo-advice that uses algorithms and technologies without the direct involvement of somebody on the other side, must monitor and review the automated advice generated by algorithms and ensure the quality and suitability of the automated advice for their clients. So if any of these forex brokers use automated advice, hey, we can give you one average deposit 20 Rand, and if you don't like it, we're not going to do that. It's their job to actually go through that. The next thing is outsourcing policies and processes. Another new requirement. This is a new requirement introduced for FSPs that outsource some of their functions to other parties. Now, FSPs can always outsource some of their work to other people, especially when it comes to keeping copies of clients' call recordings. So it says here, where an FSP outsources certain functions, example, functions that the law requires it to perform, or important operational functions, the FSP must ensure the person to whom the function is being outsourced is capable and authorized if needed, and the FSP must have measures assess the standards and perform outsourced delivery. They should have a written agreement in place which governs the outsourced arrangement, address, rights and responsibilities. Now, just for me, reading all of this stuff is a lot. Why do you think some people don't want to go through this route? Now, we're going to get to the big one. It says here, appointment of representatives. Another requirement under operational ability is the appointment of representatives. An FSP, a representative is me and you that works there. An FSP must ensure that when appointing a representative that the persons possess the operational ability to effectively function as a representative of the FSP or perform activities, meaning that they need to have a chair, they need to have a desk, they need to have internet, they need to have all of these things in order to provide that, to do their job there as well. The FSP must therefore develop and implement a process that includes HR and processes suites. Now, there's probably a lot of these prop firms that was made up. Now, financial soundness, I think, is one of the main reasons why a lot of these brokers in South Africa are not regulated, or they're hiding under someone else's license, which they're probably going to get to also. And it says here, financial soundness. Now, FSPs must maintain financial soundness that are adequate to carry out their activities and ensure that they can meet their liabilities as these fall due. FSPs must therefore set out how it will ensure that adequate financial resources and how it will manage and monitor compliance with the financial soundness requirements applicable for their type of FSP. You have to submit banking statements before you get licensed. They want to see how much money you have. Because if you're going to start an insurance company, you're going to start a bank and you only have 5,000 Rand in your account, they're not going to give it to you. Now, you probably wonder, how does these brokers pop up all over the place? Well, guess what? They're not regulated by the FSCA, meaning that there's a lot of loopholes that they've jumped. They might not even be educated to do what they are doing. They might not even be able to to have any insurance in place should they require to have money, which is why there's a certain company that had just disappeared off the surface of the earth because they can't pay. They don't have money. But who do we go to? Nobody. So at the end of the day, guys, it's important that when you do decide to go with a broker, make sure that they are regulated. And if you ever wanted to know how difficult it is to get regulated, this is how it is. So give some respect for the brokers that go to regulated and stay away from those ones who are not regulated, because there's a good chance that they're not financially sound and they just want to take your money, that they don't act honest, that they're not honest, act with integrity, and they just want to take your money and lie to you and put you on a B book and then make as if you're trading, and they're probably operating from the back of their house, and they probably don't have the qualifications in order to do that work as well. Guys, that was a mouthful. If you do want to become a broker, a bank, make sure that you do meet these requirements before you file for an application. That is it from my side, guys. Thank you for your time, and please smash that like button, and as always, cheers for years.